This is week 1 notes, and we're continuing with operations with fractions. Now, this should be review from Math 99, so let's refresh our memories on a few of these things. Reducing fractions, also known as simplifying a fraction or scaling the fraction down. You've done this before. Let's say we have the fraction 5/10. You know that 5 is half of 10, so it makes sense without even doing any mathematics that 5/10 is equivalent to 1/2. Now, procedurally, how do we arrive there? 5 and 10 have a common factor. 5 can be divided by 5, and so can 10. And we divide the top and bottom of the fraction, the numerator and the denominator, by that common factor, we get the simpler fraction 1/2. And this is as simple as we can go because 1 and 2 have no common factors other than 1. Let's try another one. Let's try 36/48. Alright, 36 and 48 have quite a few factors in common. If you're stuck and you're not sure what the biggest one is, what the greatest common factor is, you can start by dividing both the top and bottom by 2 because they're both even. So if I divide 36 by 2, I get 18. If I divide 48 by 2, I get 24. I'd have 18/24. Now, 18 and 24, both still even. We could divide them both by 2. But this would take a while. So if we can find the GCF, that's better yet. So think about the factors that go into 36. If I think about 36 itself, does that go into 48? Nope. Next biggest factor of 36 is 18. Does that go into 48? And you can test with a calculator. You can try 48 divided by 18, but I'll tell you right now it won't work. Now, the next biggest factor in 36 is 12. Can we divide 12 into 48? Yes, we can. So let's take the shortcut and skip over dividing by 2 over and over again and divide both the top and bottom by 12. 36 divided by 12 is 3, and 48 divided by 12 is 4. And that's as simple as we can get. And the reason is because 3 and 4 have no common factors other than 1. Let's continue on now with adding and subtracting fractions. What you've learned in Math 99 is that to get a common denominator first when you're adding or subtracting fractions. If we don't have a common denominator, we can't add or subtract them. For instance, let's start with this problem. Let's do 4/5 minus 3/5. Because these are the same size parts of a whole, I can just go ahead and subtract the numerators. 4 minus 3 is 1, and we keep the denominators the same. Think about the addition problem that this creates. 1/5 plus 3/5 more. If you have 1/5 of a pizza, 1 slice out of 5, and you eat 3 slices more out of those 5, you've eaten 4 out of 5 of the slices. This problem makes sense because all of the pieces of the pizza are the same size. They're fifths. But if we have 4/5 plus, let's say, 1/3, my pizza isn't cut into the same size slices. I've got fifths in this pizza and thirds in this. So we can't just add the tops and the bottoms. We need common denominators. So let's think about 5 and 3. What's the least common multiple? The LCM is what you learn in Math 99 that 5 and 3 both go into. Multiples of 5, 5, 10, 15. There's one that 3 goes into, 15. 3 doesn't go into 5 nicely, 3 doesn't go into 10, but it goes into 15. So I can rewrite these two fractions as parts of 15. How many times does 5 go into 15? 3 times. So I'm making the bottom of this fraction 3 times bigger. To keep it equivalent, I need to make the top 3 times bigger. So 4 times 3 is 12. So 4/5 becomes 12/15. Now let's change 2/3 to 15ths. 3 times what makes 15? 3 goes into 15 5 times. Since I've scaled the denominator up 5 times bigger, I also need to scale the numerator up 5 times bigger to keep the fraction equivalent. And I end up with 1/3 becoming 5/15. Now I have parts the same size. I can combine them. 12/15 and 5/15. I add the numerators and keep the denominators the same. Now, depending upon what I'm going to use the answer for, I could either leave this as 17/15, or, that's an improper fraction by the way, or change it to a mixed number, because 15 goes into 17 more than once. This 17 out of 15 is more than one whole. In fact, it's one whole, because 15 goes into 17 once, with 2 left over. So it's 1 and 2/15. Either answer is okay, depending upon what your directions are. Now I'm going to grab my calculator and show you how to do these two processes with your calculator. Now, if you have the TI-30X2S that I recommended for this class, the first process, reducing fractions, is really easy. You type the fraction in using your fraction key. So here I go, 5, and my fraction key on this calculator says A, B over C. It's right here. I press that key, here's what my screen looks like, and I put in the 10. And when I press enter with this particular calculator, it simplifies the fraction immediately. It reduces it. It changes it to its lowest terms. So there's our first process. Let me try that with 36/48. 36, fraction key, 48, and press enter, and right away it changes it to 3/4. If your calculator is slightly different, please ask me. You may have the ability to do it on your calculator, just might be a different series of steps. Now, as far as adding fractions, I can also do that with the calculator, and it saves me quite a bit of work. For instance, 4/5 minus 3/5, that was actually subtraction. So I was showing you subtraction and addition. So 4, fraction key, 5, minus, what do we do? 3/5. 3, fraction key, 5. And this is what it's going to look like. And of course we get 1/5. That was quite an easy one we could have done in our head. But the second one, where we are adding two fractions, same idea, gets common denominator. That was 4/5, 4, fraction key, 5, plus 1, fraction key, 3rd. And I get the 1 and 2/15 right away as a mixed number. And if I want to change that to an improper fraction on this calculator, here's what I do. Above my ABC key, it says ABC double arrow D over C. That means I can change a mixed number to an improper fraction and vice versa. So while I have the mixed number in there, because that step is in yellow, I press my yellow shift key and then my ABC key, and now you see it's changed it to 7/15, the improper fraction. Please ask me to show you how to work the fraction key on your calculator. If you don't have a calculator with fraction key, please get one. It will make your life much easier. For more information on adding and subtracting fractions, let's practice together in class. We are assuming that you learned this in Math 99.